What's up, vinyl community? This is Drop the Needle Records coming at you with another video. Well, this week what I wanted to do is another series in my record collection. We're going to do part one of alternative albums. But before I get started, if you would, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Really helps the channel out. Really love interacting with everybody, but let's get right to it. So this week, what I'm going to do is, like I said, albums in my record collection. I'm going to do alternative. If you watch the other one, I did hip hop and I did Run DMC. But this week, we're going to do Radiohead. Radiohead is one of my favorite bands, and I just kind of wanted to go through and show everybody the albums that I had and kind of give you a little insight of my thoughts about them. So it was 1993. I was a junior in high school, and I heard the song Creep. I was hooked right from the first time that I heard it. I bought it and Pablo Honey on CD, and I listened to that CD constantly. So in the band, you have, of course, Tom York on vocals. You have Johnny Greenwood on guitar, Colin Greenwood on bass, and Ed O'Brien on guitar, and Philip Selway on drums. So when I was young, I had an on-again, off-again relationship with Radiohead. And as I'm kind of going through my collection, I'll kind of explain. But first up, we have Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey came out, like I said, in 1993. And of course, you have the song Creep. Absolutely fantastic song. I still love it just about as much as I heard it back when I was a junior in high school. But on this album, some favorites of mine are You Stop Whispering, Thinking About You, Ripcord, and Vegetable. And so that's kind of the back of the album there. And after you have Pablo Honey, then in 1995, you have The Bends. Was tired of Creep, the band was, and they did something a little different. When this came out in 1995, I didn't resonate with this album at all. It wasn't until later that I did. I was 18 and I was into different types of music at the time. It wasn't until OK Computer came out that I just really loved this album. But some of my favorites off this album are High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees, love that song, and Bones, and Just is off this album that I like. And on the back, you have that as well. Then, in 1997, you had OK Computer. This was a very technological album. The record industry at the time thought it was very uncommercial, but what did the record industry know? It went on to go five times platinum in the UK, 2 times platinum in the US. This album brought me back and made me love the Bends after that. But some of my favorites on here are Airbag, Paranoid Android, Subterranean, Homesick, Alien, Karma Police, No Surprises, and Lucky. I kind of go through and decide, okay, this is my favorite album. No, this one here is my favorite album. But this one really brought me back to them again. Then in 2000, you had Kid A. This album was influenced kind of from electronic and ambient music. Can't remember for sure, but I want to say Tom, either on this one or maybe the next one, was influenced by Aphex Twin. He's talking about going on a drive. I don't know if that's true or not, but I remember reading that somewhere. This album right here was the first album for them on the Billboard 200 in the United States. And right now in my life, this is probably my favorite Radiohead album. But some of my favorites on here is Everything in Its Right Place, Kid A, National Anthem, love that song. How to Disappear Completely, Optimistic, Idiotique, and Motion Picture Soundtrack. And then I don't know if anyone else picked up, but they did the Kid A Meja. I picked that up as well. Lots of cool things on this album. And then, of course, when you flip it over, you got Amnesiac. There's some good cuts on this as well. If you don't have it, I'd suggest picking it up. And then after that, you have Amnesiac. This came out in 2001. It's probably one of my least favorites. Still love it. I love all of them. But the band thought of breaking up after Kid A, but they came with a more electronic sound. They had lots of songs and sketches left from Kid A, and they decided to go with this. But probably my favorites on here are Packed Like Sardines in a Crushed Tin Box, Pyramid Song, really awesome song, love that one. I Might Be Wrong, and Dollars and Cents. Then you have Hail to the Thief. That's the only one that I don't have on vinyl. I have it on CD. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. So I'll have to go through the collection and figure out where I have that, or maybe I didn't have it and thought I did, or I traded it in. I don't remember, I guess. But then in 2007, you have In Rainbows. I remember when this album came out, you could download it. There was a thing where you can give them any type of donation you wanted to. You could give them money or not. I ended up buying it on CD. And again, I could not get into it, didn't like it. But I came back to it a few years later, and I thought this album was absolutely genius. Again, I guess at the time I was a little too young. I always go back and forth with this album between this one and Kid A as my favorite. Kid A is fantastic front to back. In Rainbows, fantastic front to back. But on this album, I think my favorites are 15 Step, Body Snatchers, Nude, Weird Fishes, Arpeggi, All I Need, Reckoner, Jigsaw and Falling into Place. So In Rainbows, definitely an awesome album. Then in 2012, you got The King of Limbs. They said that they took a lot of their tapes and put them into digital files, and kind of reading into, they would loop them over and over, and it was like hip hop producers, which is very interesting to me. It's kind of cool reading the history of all their albums that they did. But on this one, some of my favorites are Bloom, Little by Little, Feral, Lotus Flower, and Separator. And then in 2016, you got Moon-Shaped Pool. I love this album as well. The producer actually, I read that he captured the band on tape, and as they went into Tom's demos, this album to me front to back is also great. Some of my favorites on here are Burn the Witch, Daydreaming, Dex Dark, Desert Island Disc, Full Stop, and True Love Waits. Have that on here. So yeah, that's my Radiohead collection. Don't know the future of Radiohead. I've heard little rumblings that maybe we might get one more. Don't know. If we do, I'd be so pumped. If I could see them in concert, that would be a bucket list item for me. But yeah, there's been a few teases with the band, but we'll see what happens. But I appreciate everyone for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if there's another genre you'd like me to show and about my record collection. I'd love to show them off. But yeah, let me know what you think of Radiohead. And I appreciate everybody watching and communicating with me. It's nice interacting with the vinyl community. But until we see each other again next week, Peace.